to track later this evening, and it's going to be the big story when we come back on Monday morning as well. Raunak Onkar is now joining us. He's co-equity fund manager and head of research at Parag Parikh Financial Services Mutual Fund. Raunak, good to have you with us here. Good afternoon, Prashant here. You know, I was looking at some of your portfolio. You own some of these exchanges. I mean, actually, the only exchange you don't own in the portfolio is the Bombay Stock Exchange. You own MCX, IEX. So let me ask you about what you don't own, which is BSE. I'm sure you would have looked at it, right? Because that's the only sort of listed stock exchange available. What are your thoughts? Because many are very, very bullish. We've seen sell-side coverage, a fair bit of it, talking about pricing power starting to come back, the options market, the BankX, which has been launched. Of course, we'll only know a few months down the line what's the uptake there. Has it really been, is it being used in a very big way? But your thoughts on BSE from here?
Thank you for inviting, Prashant. Network effects in an exchange matter a lot. So if you see any exchange business, if the network effects are not in the dominant player's hands, then a lot of the economic advantages over a period of time don't come to you. So in case of equity exchanges and derivatives exchanges in equities, you will see NSE is being a dominant exchange right now, which has cornered a lot of network effects over the past couple of decades. It has been around. But with BSE's case, whatever market share they have lost, they have tried to gain other category of products. So we've been tracking it, but I don't have any view on the business as such. However, to tell about market infrastructure companies, we would rather go with the dominant network effects player than go with the second player over here.
Hi, Raunak. Good afternoon. So, I was just wondering, because BSE, the listed company, is trading, whatever you assume for the next couple of years, is still trading at 40, 45 times on. And in the unlisted market, you have an NSE that's trading at around 20 times. And you also have a dividend yield of close to around 3.5%, I think so. So, you're saying that you'd rather stick with NSE?
So, you're talking about theoretical investments. We haven't invested in it yet. But we keep tracking it. We are interested in studying how the businesses work and how they evolve. So it remains to be seen in the future. If it becomes very attractive, we will take a look at it.
Yeah, interesting. I just was asking out of curiosity as well, because otherwise, supply as well has been plenty actually in the unlisted market with NSE, though that I think that price has moved up a little bit to around 3,400 to 3,500. But Raunak, tell us, what are the changes you've made in your portfolio? The last time around, we spoke a little bit about HDFC Bank. From there, the stock is still a little bit lower. I think we spoke about some holding companies, and that's the way you would rather play some of these Bajaj companies. So what's changed? Anything new? Anything you've added on a position or maybe reduced?
So not much has changed in the portfolio. The turnover remains the same. If you see over the last 12 months, the turnover of the portfolio has been around 5% as of the latest fact sheet. So we haven't changed anything meaningfully. In the international piece, it's about 16% of the fund now. We haven't been able to remit new funds abroad, but we continue to own the tech leaders in the foreign portfolio. The domestic portfolio of financial services includes the banks, 3 banks that we own, HDFC, Axis, ICICI, as a dominant part of the financial services portfolio. And we also have, like I said earlier, the capital market intermediaries like CDSL, IEX, MCX. Those play a part in the portfolio. In IT services, we have HCL Tech, Oracle Financial Services in the FlexiCap portfolio, and the TCS, Infosys, and also Infosys in the FlexiCap portfolio. But that's also, again, a part of the IT services piece. In pharma, we have a basket approach, and we have a few commodity companies like Balkrishna Industries and MDC, Coal India. And we also have energy company like the power transmission company like Power Grid in the portfolio. So this builds a portfolio which is more or less stable in terms of cash flows that they generate. And we haven't changed too many things in that portfolio.
Okay, got that. Raunak, hi, good afternoon. Let's talk about your foreign holdings, the really interesting part of the puzzle, right? And I was looking at disclosures for the September fact sheet, and you still have Alphabet, I think that's 4.7%. You have Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon. There was a lot of chatter specifically on Alphabet just a couple of days back, right? Their cloud business not doing as well as Microsoft's. That apart, I mean, in general, there's a little bit of a worry around the NASDAQ and the kind of correction we've started seeing with yields being so high. How are you reading this, and what are your thoughts with respect to this large cap global blue chip technology exposure that you have?
Yeah. Cyclically, I think there could be a valuation correction in many of these companies because of the interest rates moving up. But regardless of that, if you see some of the companies, the longer term trend remain to be in their favor. So if you look at the trends in digital advertising, all 4 companies have advertising businesses inside of them. Microsoft is a smaller one, but Amazon is scaling their ads business. Google depends a lot on the ad business. Even Meta depends entirely on the ads business. The entire shift from physical media or traditional media to ads business, digital ads business continues to happen. So that continues to be a good tailwind for them. In case of Microsoft, Amazon and Google, all 3 of them have cloud computing businesses inside of them. And you're right, sometimes one will lead, the other will probably fall back. Sometimes all 3 will do well. So cyclically, yeah, we don't want to predict too much of how the cycle will turn out. But in the longer term, is the technology shifting towards cloud computing usage? The answer is yes. Most of the implementation right now is only at the areas where it's not very critically important. But now when critical software is like even the ERP systems are coming on cloud, there has to be some back-end cloud computing infrastructure available, which all 3 companies can provide. AI entirely works on the cloud. You cannot actually run these things on premise. So if you are using any AI services, you will have to end up using the cloud. Again, these are all long-term tailwinds that these companies can benefit from. And plus, they also have their own platform services on top of this, that they will sell their own softwares, they will sell their own APIs in terms of AI that they are working on to customers who are willing to build on top of that. So we have seen this trend over the past, I think 10 years at least, working in favor of these companies, and they have scaled a lot. And based on this scale, we have to see how far the growth rates can be taken.
You know, these all numbers just came, right? And Meta's, Raunak was also talking about it, quarterly ad revenues are $34 billion. Quarterly. I was thinking of all those millions of Insta Reels. people
and all the sponsored ads that keep cropping up on your feed, right? Now we know what crazy, that adds up to.
And I wonder what would the creators be making? I mean, because they're also, at least, the ones with big subscriber numbers, etc. make, but I mean, it's a huge number. $34 billion from ad sales. Actually, the total revenues for the company are 35. As Raunak said, it's almost all entirely ad sales. Raunak, you own Bajaj Holdings. Is it a play on the group per se? You know, something, or is it about holding companies really? Because I mean, that's another thing which has been discussed, that delisting, etc. But I don't think that's the case here. Just tell us about this one.
So it's regarding the holding companies, as like you said, and also about the group. So there are several holding companies in India which have good underlying companies underneath them. But Bajaj Group companies have been demonstrated of very well-run operations over the past several decades. And the holding company gives you a way to own these well-run companies and these cash flows at a discount. So if you can buy something at a discount and also get the entire dividend flowing to you at the holding company level, it becomes an attractive way to own the underlying assets. But we have to believe that the underlying companies will do well. So we also track the underlying companies very closely to understand where the trends have been. And over a period of time, we have seen the gap in the underlying investments and the holding companies' value keep fluctuating. So right now it's close to 50% in case of Bajaj Holdings. At peak, it was at somewhere close to 60, 65%, 70%. So it keeps moving around. But we don't pay too much attention to that gap closing or narrowing or expanding. We pay attention to the underlying businesses, and the discount allows us to buy it at a lower price than buying the underlying at the market price.
And this is both the financial services and the auto business, right? Yes. So you get a play on everything in one shot. Got it.
Maharashtra Scooter and Bajaj Holdings. We had put out that piece on Editors Roundtable as well. Raunak, final question before we let you go. You're launching a new fund, right? You want to give us some insights out there? I think there was an NFO from your stable. So give us some brief details.
Yeah, today is the last day for the NFO of Parag Parikh Arbitrage Fund. Again, Arbitrage Fund category is a very interesting category. It acts like a debt investment, but gives you taxation of equity investment portfolio. At the same time, it depends on the arbitrage yield. So people who don't know how arbitrage works, it's essentially we buy equity in the cash market and sell futures contracts for the next month, and we get a yield because the futures market might be at a higher price, and that yield is very close to the liquid fund yield. So it's like a debt investment for investors who want to park their money for short term. Think of it like an alternative to a liquid fund.
Okay, all right, got that. Raunak, thank you very much for joining in and have a great weekend. We look forward to connecting again soon. That is the word from PPFAS Mutual Fund. We do have to take a quick break on that note. We will come back on the other side and get you a check on what dealing rooms have been sort of buzz with today. Nimesh is joining in, and some final trading calls as we get into the last 20 minutes of trade.